Rabotai, Boker Or, V'Shavua Tov. We continue the Tariag Mitzvot, and today we're up to Mitzvah number 606. And that's the first Mitzvah in Parashat Ki Tavo. It's a positive commandment that when one brings Bikurim, the first fruits, he also must make a recitation. That's called Mikra Bikurim. The pasuk is in Devarim Chavav He, Ve'anita ve'amarta lefnei Adonai Elohecha, Arami Oved Abi. We call this mitzvah again Mikra Bikurim. And the reason why it's not enough just to bring the Bikurim, the first fruits, but you actually have to verbally make a gratitude to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So the Rabbi explains the Fishe Ha'adam מעורר מחשבותיו ומצייר בלבבו האמת בכוח דברי פיו. You cannot compare if somebody has a feeling in his heart or if he expresses it. When the person expresses it verbally, it makes a bigger impression on the person. Al ken behetiv elav Hashem baruch hu. So when God was good to the farmer, gave him fruit, blessed his land, and not only that, he's healthy enough that he's able to bring them to Jerusalem. You can't take that for granted. A farmer can have a berachah in his field, but if he doesn't have the health in order to bring them up to Yerushalayim, so he cannot do the mitzvah. So that's why the Rab says, and he also merited to get them to the Bet Eloheinu, to the house of God. It's worthy for him to arouse his heart verbally. That everything that came to him from the fruit, from the ability to travel, from his good health, from all the blessings that he had, is only from one source, and that's Adon HaOlam. But he doesn't only thank Hashem for the fruit. But once already giving gratitude, so it's already proper to give gratitude not only for your personal benefit, but for Klal Yisrael, and then you start from the beginning of our history. Perfect, we're reading in this week's Parashah how HaKadosh Baruch Hu saved Yaakov Abinu from Lavan, as we say in the Pasuk, Arami Oved Avi. That the Arami, according to one interpretation, the Arami is Lavan, and Oved Avi, his intention was to destroy my father, which is Yaakov. And then we go to Mitzrayim, V'tzilanu HaKadosh Baruch Hu miyadam, Ve'achar Hashem ha'mebakesh b'lefanav lehatmida beracha. And then we ask God to continue the blessings, that they should be not only a one-time deal, but they should have perpetuation. And once already God sees that the person is gracious and is asking and thanking God for all the miracles and for the blessings. So what happens? His land becomes blessed more. It's interesting the way the Rabbi understands this. The reason why God wants us to have Hakarat HaTov is because if we have gratitude, then God will be good to us. And God wants to be good to us because God is a kind God. So therefore, whatever it says, do A, B, C, and that'll allow me to reciprocate with good to you in order that I can give you a blessing. And God says that is my will to give you a blessing because Hafez Chesedu, God is kind. Now, not everybody can make this recitation because it says in the pasuk, Mina Adama Asher Natatali, that I'm thanking God to the land that you gave me. So it only applies to people that inherited the land of Israel. So for example, if a lady brings Bikurim, she doesn't inherit. Isha is not Yoreshet Eretz Yisrael. So therefore she cannot say, Ala Adama Asher Natatali. Furthermore, Tumtum, Androgenos, these are people that are questionable. We don't know what they are. Androgenos has both Simanim. Also cannot make Mikra Bikurim. Furthermore, the Rab writes Apotropos. Apotropos is the administrator of the property of Yetomim. Since he's bringing for the Yetomim and it's not his land, he cannot say Ala Adama Asher Natatali. However, the Rab does point out that Gerim can bring Bikurim and actually say Asher Natatali. How? The Gerim are not part of the Halukah of Eretz Yisrael. So the Rab writes, Afal pi shelo netchaleka lahem haaretz mivi'im Bikurim ki leAbraham nitena tehila. Because the land was given initially to Abraham. Vehu nikra Avhamon Goyim. And if he's considered the father of all the nations, which is the father of all the future converts that are going to come from Bnei Yisrael, or come to Bnei Yisrael. So therefore, you can say Ha'adamah shenatatali because you're a son of Abraham. Now the Rav over here learns a lesson. That what would be the big problem if a lady would come along and read the whole Mikra Bikurim? There's only one line that doesn't apply to her. Adama asher natatali. Okay, so wouldn't it be worth it to make the whole recitation, even though one line might not be accurate? So what's the big deal? So the Rav says, that we learn a lesson over here when you're praying to God. You have to pray with very, very great precision and exactness. That means you see over here, you just shouldn't throw words out of your mouth. So the Rab says it makes a difference. If those words Asher Natatali don't apply, so then you're not talking to your friend where you just make statements. You say, okay, scratch that from the record. Okay, I didn't mean it. Pardon me. You're talking to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So when you talk to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the words that come out of your mouth have to be thought out, and every word should be precise and exact and have the proper meaning. Now, the halakha applies obviously only in the times of the Beit HaMikdash. The mitzvah applies only in Eretz Yisrael, like it says, Reshit Bikurei Admatecha. Admatecha is Israel. Tavi Bet Hashem Elohecha. The law applies, like we just said, to males, because they're the ones that inherit the land. Velo benekevot. Again, nekevot might have to bring Bikurim, but they don't make the recitation. This is the recitation mitzvah, not the actual mitzvah of the Bikurim. Umidrabanam, they used to bring Bikurim in the times of the Beit HaMikdash, not only in Israel, but even in Syria, which was considered, let's say, an annex of Eretz Yisrael, like we learned in Masechet Gittin Daf Het, and that's considered a kivush of David HaMelech. Lastly, if somebody brings Bikurim, but he did not make the recitation while he should, he has transgressed this positive commandment.